Hey, if you're looking to expand your real estate business, you might be looking at hosting open houses. Now, maybe you're new to doing open houses. Maybe you're just not that good at them. Well, today I'm going to go over some of my biggest tips and tricks I have for hosting a successful open house. And if you stick around to the end, I'll even give you the biggest thing I see people consistently do wrong with open houses that really isn't going to help you build your business or even get the house sold at all. So stick around to the end. I'll share that with you. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Steve. I'm a team lead for the Three Rivers Real Estate team based out of the Twin Cities of Minnesota. I produce content for agents just looking to be better agents. Maybe you're trying to grow your business. Maybe you're just getting started. Maybe you want to take it to the next level and start a team. I'm here producing content, let you know what you need to do to be a better agent. And best thing of all, I'm not trying to sell you anything. There's no course for you to sign up at the end. There's no coaching call. There's nothing crazy like that. Just free content to help you be a better agent. Like I said, today, we're going to talk about open houses. It's one of the ways I've built my business over the years. It's one of the ways I got started in real estate. One of the ways I continue to grow my business. There's a lot of potential here if you're good at them. So today we're gonna go over some of my top tips for hosting a successful open house. Now, one of the biggest things you need to remember when hosting an open house is you need to be extremely knowledgeable about the house that you're in. A lot of times if you're hosting an open house, it might not be your open house, especially if you're just getting started in the business. You might not have a lot of homes to choose from. So you're probably hosting an open house for another agent who's maybe busy, doesn't have time to do it, or maybe they just don't host open houses. So here you are filling in for them. Now, a lot of times you might just show up to the house and not know a lot about what's going on. You need to prep and you need to understand what's going on in that house. I highly recommend having a phone call with the listing agent if it's not your home, or even meeting the homeowners at the home before the open house just to learn more about it. You should know what they like about the house. You should know the types of appliances that are in there, the flooring that's in there, if it's north facing, south facing, all of these things you should have a very good knowledge of, because here's the thing, someone coming through the open house that wants to buy that house wants to make sure that they're working with an expert and an expert on that house nonetheless. If somebody has a question about the house and you don't have the answer for them, odds are you're not going to convert that sale. They're probably going to either A, reach out to somebody else who can answer it for them, or B, by the time you do get the answer for them, might already be over. They might have either moved on from that house or have, selected somebody else to work with. So you want to make sure you have as much knowledge of the house as you can. It's also a good idea to try to get to the house early. If you're hosting it at, say, 11 o'clock, you want to make sure you're there at least a half hour early. Get through the house, turn on the lights, get to know the house a little bit, familiarize yourself where things are at, how many beds are on what level, where's the biggest bedroom, what type of closets are there, what type of closet systems do they have in there, what type of deck is it, walk around the exterior of the house. Nothing is worse when you come in, set up an open house, open up everything inside, you're hosting an open house, things are going on, somebody walks around the outside and asks you a question about something in the yard, and you haven't walked the exterior of the house yet. Again, you're not going to come off as an expert, and definitely not going to come off as an expert on that house if you haven't spent time and you know a lot about it. And most consumers, if they think you're not an expert of the house that you're hosting an open house in, they're not going to trust you to show them other houses too. So if you're trying to build your business, trying to pick up more buyers or trying to pick up more sellers, you better be an expert in the house that you're sitting in, because if you're not, there's a 0% chance that they're going to trust you helping them with any other home purchase or home sale when you can't even tell them about the house that you're in. Now, you don't only just need to be knowledgeable about the house that you're in, but you should also be knowledgeable about the neighborhood and city that you're in. A lot of people coming and touring that area are specifically looking for something in that area, and they want to work with a realtor who is a local market expert. We see this all the time. When you ask people, hey, why did you choose your realtor? It's because they knew the area very, very well. So if you're hosting an open house in an area that you're not very familiar with, take time to get to know about it. Figure out what the local grocery store is. Make sure you know the school district that they're in, and not just the high school. Make sure you know about the elementary school and middle school. If you have someone that's asking a lot of questions, a lot of times they're going to ask you, hey, what middle school is this? What elementary school is this? I'm moving in this area. I need to make sure I'm in a certain school district. Again, if you don't know, you're not going to come off as a local expert, and you're not going to have a good opportunity to work with them in the future. You also need to know what homes are for sale and how your home stacks up to what else has been on the market. You also need to know about other homes that are for sale in the area and things that have recently sold in the area. If there is a home that's very similar to this one that hosted an open house last weekend, there's a good chance people coming to your home will have gone to that open house last weekend. They might have questions about how the two homes compare to each other. And you need to know that. You need to understand, like, hey, yep, that house only had 2 bedrooms up and 2 bedrooms down. We have 3 bedrooms on one level. That's why we're priced differently. Or, hey, our siding is this. They had stucco siding, we have vinyl siding. Those are some of the differences between the two. Or whatever it happens to be, but you need to have an intelligent conversation with someone who may have toured other homes in the neighborhood so you can speak confidently on how your home differs from that home there. And you can speak to that and sell the home that you're in better because you're able to relate it to other homes that they may have seen in the area. Likewise, if you know what's for sale on the market, it opens you up to being able to potentially convert that person into another appointment. People that are coming through the open house, fact is that home might not be perfect for them, but there might be one in the area that is right for them, and it might not have an open house. If you're in the home and you ask someone at the end of the open house, hey, what'd you think of the home? They're like, you know what, just wasn't for us. We need 3 bedrooms on one level. You only have 2. If you can instantly go, hey, did you check out the house 123 Main Street? It's about a quarter mile from here. Have you had a chance to tour that home yet? And if they say no, you can go, hey, you know what, if you're interested, I'm done here in an hour and a half. Would you be interested in doing a private tour on 123 Main Street? It has 3 bedrooms on one level. I can get you in later today. If you're able to do that, you'll be surprised at your conversion rate of being able to pick up people who aren't working with realtors yet, who want to be in that area, but just haven't committed to working with a realtor yet, and they're just shopping from open house to open house. If you're able to solve that problem for them and get them into a home in the area, you might be able to convert them into a client long term. But you need to know what's for sale in the area, and you need to know the specs of the homes in the area as well, so you can solve the problem for them. Like I said, if they're in your open house, there might be something that they just don't like about it. Kitchen layout, bedroom layout, garages. If you know what's for sale in the area, because you're a local market expert and you can solve what's wrong with your house, with what else is in the area, there's a good chance they're going to want to work with you, and there's a good chance they're going to schedule a showing with you, especially if you can make it happen that day when they're already out and about looking at houses or open houses. Now, there's a lot of talk of what we refer to as forced registration or sign-in sheets with open houses, and if you hear a lot of other coaches talk about it, a lot of gurus talk about it, they're all about it. You got to capture their contact information and follow up, follow up, follow up. I hate this method. I never do this. I think might work for some people. It doesn't work for me. The reason why is because I don't want to be sold that way. I hate walking into a car dealership or walking into wherever it is and having to give them my contact information and having an annoying salesperson follow up with me for months and years on end. I hate being sold to this like this, so I don't sell to people like this. What I do is I provide massive value to the person in the open house while they're there. It's about being knowledgeable about the house. It's about being knowledgeable about the neighborhood. It's about asking them qualifying questions so you know what they're looking for in their home shopping experience. And you know what? There's no greater experience when at the end of the open house, they go, you know what? Can I get your business card? You've been so helpful. You've been so knowledgeable about this house, about the neighborhood, about the process in general, that I would love to be able to reach out to you again in the future when we're ready to buy. Or, hey, yeah, we're actively looking right now and you've been amazing. Can you work with us as a realtor? And this is how I've gotten all of my business in open houses. I have never forced someone to register, followed up with them, and converted a lead that way. So, if you're looking for tips for that, I'm sorry, this is the wrong video for you. Hop over somewhere else. I believe in providing massive value to the person when they're in the open house with you, and they will follow up with you. And it might not be right away. I've had people text me a month later after the open house. Hey, Steve, we were so impressed with you. We've been in so many different open houses. You were by far the most knowledgeable of not only the house, but the neighborhood as well. We'd love to work with you. And I this does happen. It's going to happen for you if you take the time to prep and learn about the house, the neighborhood, and you're confident in your abilities as a realtor in general. And those are the biggest keys to having a successful open house and building your business through open houses. And that's not only going to lead you to more buyers, but you know what? Don't forget about the nosy neighbors that are coming through as well. You have a neighbor that's coming through, and a lot of people are just like, oh, okay, yeah, go ahead and take a look. No, you still need to sell the house to them. You still need to sell the neighborhood to them, talk to them and see that they're knowledgeable. A lot of these neighbors that are coming through, they're vetting you. They're not only looking at the house, but they're vetting you as well, because you know what? They might be thinking of selling as well. I forget what the phrase is, but usually when one home sells in the market, there's another 1 or 2 that are coming in the next 6 to 8 weeks. I forget exactly what that stat is, but it's something very, very similar to that. It's kind of a domino effect. When one person sells in the neighborhood, a couple more are probably not too far behind them. And if they don't have a realtor yet, they're probably going to take a look at their neighbor's open house, not only just to, maybe just poke around the neighbor's house, but they also want to get ideas for staging, for, colors, if they want to paint, cleanliness, they want to get an idea. So when they sell their house, they might have a good game plan going into it. So they're going through there to check it out, to kind of see what that's like. And you know what? They're also going to be vetting you a little bit too. If you just let them walk around, you don't even engage them, what message did you just send to that person? You are not hosting a very good open house. You're not representing the person whose homes you're selling. Why are they going to work with you when it comes time to sell them? If you engage them, you sell them on the house, you sell them on the neighborhood, and you show you're knowledgeable, they're going to go, oh yeah, this person really gets it. They're very knowledgeable, they're very attentive, they're doing a very good job representing my neighbors. I would love for them to come represent me too. So don't forget about the nosy neighbors when you're hosting an open house. And a lot of times too, I'll have a packet for neighbors as they come through open house. So I have my normal open house flyers that I have for buyers when they're coming through. People looking to buy the house, has all the information about the house on there. But with sellers, I usually have additional information about the neighborhood as well. It has neighborhood stats on there. Hey, here's what's been pending over the last 6 months. Here's what's sold in the last 6 months. Here's what's currently active. Here's what prices are doing. Here's what inventory is doing. Have that all in a one sheeter or a multiple packet. I usually have like a 10 sheet packet that I give when people say, oh, I'm just a neighbor. Great, fantastic. Do you know what the neighborhood's doing? Do you know what prices are doing in the neighborhood? Do you know what homes are for sale in the neighborhood? Here's everything for you with all my contact information on it. If you have questions, please reach out. I'd love to get coffee and talk more about the neighborhood and where things are going and where I think they're going. So make sure you have additional information ready for them. Make sure you have a game plan set in place for sellers as they're coming through as well. Now, the biggest mistake I see with realtors and open houses, and I really see this a lot with new realtors who are trying to build their business with open houses. This is the number one thing that I always see them screw up, that not only doesn't allow them to build their business, but also affects their ability to sell the house they're in. And that is, don't forget to sell the house that you're in. A lot of time people are coming through their open house and they're trying to qualify them and trying to sell them as a realtor, and they forget that they're trying to sell the house that they're in. You're hosting an open house either for your client if it's your listing or for another agent within your brokerage. Don't forget your main objective is to sell that house. And even if somebody comes through an open house and they always say, hey, I'm repped with somebody, I have a realtor already. Don't just disregard that person. Make sure you're still doing your due diligence and you're selling the house that you're in and you're taking the time to get that closed. And anybody that is coming who isn't repped as well, don't forget, sell them on the house that you're in. Maybe they want to buy that specific house that you're in, or again, maybe they're a neighbor and they want to see how you represent this. So don't forget to do that. It's not just a lead gen activity. I think too many realtors get caught up in that, or I'm doing open houses to get leads. It's great, and that can happen, but you need to sell the house that you're in first. And then if you qualify that person and the house doesn't work for them, then yes, see if you can convert them potentially into a client, into a seller, whatever happens to be. Provide value to that person at the end of the day. But again, don't forget why you're there. All right, so those are some of my top tips for hosting an open house. What questions do you have? What has worked for you in the past? Drop a comment below if you have any other further questions about hosting open houses or anything like that. Like I said, they're a great opportunity if you're trying to build a business. If you're just trying to get out there and learn more, highly recommend doing them. So if you're not doing them, give them a shot. Give a couple of these tips out, see if you like them. But until next time, see you later.